Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips. How's everybody doing? Tonight we're going to be discussing edge rushers in the draft. We're going to bring on Rampage and Tom here in just 1 second. Let everybody get in here and see what everybody's got to say. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Weird thing happened last night. I want to talk about this when we get Rampage and Tom in here. Apparently, nobody got notified that there was a live stream going on. It's very strange. It's the first time that's ever happened. I got a whole bunch of people that contacted me and said, we didn't even know you were on last night. We didn't get a thing. And I scheduled I want to say I scheduled it late. So maybe that had something to do with it. Don't know. Don't know. But I am going to get these guys in here so we can get this rolling. Good show tonight, man. Got the edge rushers in here. Or we're going to talk about the edge rushers. News. You know what I can't stand? I can't stand clickbait articles. And just perusing the Buccaneers news across the league and stuff. Man, so many clickbaity articles. Here's an example. Let me get these guys in the room real quick. And one more. This is like work, man. It's like a real job. I should be getting paid for this. Okay. Listen to these headlines in here. These are article headlines for the Buccaneers. 1. Bucs remain the only team in NFL history to do this one thing in the NFL draft.
1. Bucs remain the only team in the NFL.
I mean, that's some clickbaity stuff. This one thing. Oh, I hear somebody in.
Turned it off.
Yeah, I'll get with you in just 1 second, man. Here we go. Request you allow multiple. Yes. I am. Okay. I shared your stream. Or shared got screen sharing going on now. Here's another one. Former Buccaneers quarterback signs with Commander. Former Buccaneers quarterback. That could be a ton of people. Former Buccaneers 2022 season wasn't fun at all. Scouting combine star visits the Bucs before the 2025 NFL draft. Buccaneers rival Saints star named worst NFL free agent signing. What? And then today there was Bucs legend and NFL Hall of Famer reveals possible Tampa Bay draft targets.
But I got the edge pulled up here. Something interesting I looked at last night. We were talking about getting a guard to push Bredenson for the starting job.
Yeah.
So I looked up his contract just to see his pay range, and it looks like they gave him a pretty decent contract where next year would be $10 million to get rid of him.
Oh.
Dead money. And then it's 3 to 4 saved the following year. I mean, they're paying him okay. You could have a backup at that salary, but I guess he'd be considered like a premium backup more so for $7.5 million for a backup.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're planning on keeping him for 2025 and 2026 for sure.
And he is 27, so I guess they're looking at that, maybe 3 years there.
Yeah,
I would certainly like to challenge him, but that's me.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
I looked at a little bit of tape on Abdul Carter. Just all highlights, of course, is all I could find. And
Can't see what? Oh, no.
And I could see, I can see why people see Abdul Carter as a good signing. But again, if I can't see a whole game of film on him, it's just hard for me to make a determination. I mean, he's got good moves, good speed for sure.
Yeah,
But
are you seeing the NFL draft buzz right now?
yeah,
Here's his profile page. 4.48, 250. Pretty great speed for that size.
yeah,
I guess they didn't get a measurement at the combine as far as arm length and all that kind of stuff
that's
on
weird.
him.
You would think with being such a high draft pick, they would get as many measurables on him as they could.
He probably refused to do it if that's the case.
Yeah.
He's like, it's only going to hurt me if
Right.
it comes in at 33 or something like that. So
Yeah, I wonder who his agent is. Probably Drew Rosenhaus.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
So just looking at this, I looked at this last night and it's interesting. I pulled this up before the stream and it looks like they have rearranged the order of these guys a little bit because I had little cliff notes in my phone according to the order that they had.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like they dropped Pierce down and they moved up Stewart and Michael Williams. So I'm going to go in order of the list that I had last night just so I don't get out of order and discombobulated there. So I was going to start with James Pierce. Now, what I have on him is he's 21 years old. He's got solid length, but great athleticism, great 40-yard dash time, great 10-yard split. The length, 32 3/4, it's okay. And then the hand size is pretty good.
Yeah.
He had good production. If you look at his statistics, he had 8 sacks last year, 10 sacks the year before. So pretty consistent the last 2 years at 8 to 10 range. He's a very polished pass rusher from what I see on tape.
Mm-hmm.
He can win on the inside or outside shoulder. And I actually think he's one of 2 guys in this draft who can win with straight out speed. He can get around you without being touched. There's only 2 guys. Well, Abdul Carter probably fits that, but 2 guys that could possibly be there when the Bucs pick that I've seen that can win that way outside arc without even the offensive tackle getting a hand on him. So he has a pretty good variety of moves, can win on the inside or outside shoulder. He's quick twitch. I think he's a below average run defender just because of his size. He could put on a little bit of weight there, 245. Something interesting with him that's kind of unique. There's not a lot of guys that fit this description. He's pretty good in pass coverage when he's asked to drop. I've seen him pick up running backs on wheel routes, and he just has good athleticism to turn and run with people and pick up a wide range of area in zone coverage.
Well, that's definitely a plus in Bowles' system for sure.
The big thing with this guy is there are maturity concerns. There was a report put out that, he just pretty arrogant, I guess. He's 21 years old, so you can work with that. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but that Mr. Bucks Nation put out a video this morning where he was talking about that, and Jason Light made some interesting comments where he said there are some issues where they would rule people out completely and take them off the board, but with a maturity issue, he feels like they have a locker room that's equipped to handle that, and that wouldn't necessarily scare them off.
Okay.
So that seems to fit this guy. He did have a traffic incident a long time ago where he was abrasive toward the police officer. He was going like 63 and a 35, but that got dismissed. So at least he handled it, or somebody handled it for him. But I feel like this guy is one of the most explosive pass rushers off the edge. A lot of the other guys are kind of like more meticulous with getting to the quarterback. So, Tom, what did you think? Have you watched this guy at all?
I have watched him. I thought he was outstanding. He's extremely quick. Like you said, he's very good at pass coverage too when he's asked to do that. I didn't see it a whole lot. He's kind of sneaky the way he sets tackles up. He kind of like fakes outside and goes inside a lot. He's got a good bend. He's just a great pass rusher, but I'm just worried that, because of the character concerns that we might not go after him.
I feel like it's hard to say whether he'll be there at 19 too. with these guys who are the pure pass rushers, it's always hard to say if someone's going to pull the trigger on them just because they're so hard to find and in such high demand in the NFL.
Where is he
But
projected to go right now?
It's pretty varied. Like I've seen stuff as high as around 15,
Okay.
and I've seen stuff as low as him dropping into the second round.
Huh.
So it's kind of a strange draft in that regard. Like a lot of these guys who are the edge players and defensive tackles and all that, the wide receivers are just bunched together.
No.
And it doesn't seem like outside of Abdul Carter and Hunter that there's necessarily a cohesive agreement on who is in what order. And you can see, like I was talking about with this site, they just rearranged the chairs on the deck last night. Because I had this list last night and they've moved this around. So
Well, that'll make for an interesting draft. The DraftKings has the Buccaneers listed most likely position. They just came out today with it, and it's edge. They said at plus 150. So
yeah,
they have.
If Reddick is a bust, then you're just depending on
the
guys that they had, and the guys they had weren't really getting it done.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of ways they can go. The second guy that I had, or that just going in the order, this isn't necessarily my order of rankings. I'm just kind of going with what they had last night. This is Shamar Stewart. We talked a little bit about him before. He's a low production guy. He's 21 years old. He's got great length and athleticism. So 34 and an 1/8 inch arms, 4'5'9" at 267. Great vertical, broad span, 10-yard. He checks all those boxes. Something interesting on here, it says freakish athletic testing at the combine. All of his stuff puts him in a category with Myles Garrett. So the big question with him is his production is not good. It's low production. Now, we did talk yesterday. Tom had to leave. I don't know if he saw this part. I watched some stuff trying to check in on his production, why it was so low. And I saw a few people talking about how he was consistently double teamed. Yeah. And they also said that he had one of the highest pressure rates in the history of Texas A&M. They've had some pretty good pass rushers, so that is impressive. When I watched the tape, he did get to the quarterback. Like, he would affect the quarterback. He just wouldn't finish the deal. So, at this point, he's strictly a bull rusher. He pretty much relies on his power. He doesn't have a lot of moves. He's very raw. And coaching will be key for his pass rush development, but he is pretty good at run defense just because he's got those long levers and he's almost 270. That's all I had on this guy. If Tom wanted to say anything about him.
Yeah, he's got like a great build. He's like 6'6", 290, runs a 4'5'9", 40. He's got above average arms. He's only 21 years old. He's a great run defender. I didn't see where he was that great at getting close to the tackle, close to the quarterback or anything like that.
So
he's kind of like a boomer bust, you know. He's got all the tools. Will he put it together?
Yeah, I've seen people compare him to the Walker guy that Jacksonville took with the number 1 pick a couple of years ago. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
But that's really all I had to say about him. We'll move on to the next edge guy. So the next guy is Michael Williams. He's 20 years old. He's got great length and athleticism, 34 and 3/8 arms, big hands. He's 260 and he runs a 4.77, huge wingspan. He has mid-level production. You look at his stats, 5 sacks, 5 sacks, 5 sacks. So pretty mid in that regard. You could even say below average.
At least he's consistent.
I did watch something where they talked about how he had an ankle injury last year, so they didn't know how much that affected his production. I think he's a pretty good run defender just because of his size and his arm length. The scheme that Georgia runs did not really allow him to pin his ears back and go after the quarterback. I think he was lined up on top of an offensive tackle a lot, like that 5 technique, where he was responsible for the run more so.
Yeah.
He's also very large or very raw as a pass rusher. He's not a quick twitch guy. He's shown the ability to win when I was watching him on the inside and the outside shoulder of the offensive tackles. He does not have elite bend from what I've seen on tape. You know, the ability to get kind of parallel to the ground around the corner of the offensive tackle that a lot of the elite guys have, which could limit him a little bit. Not a year one impact pass rusher, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but there's not much tape where he's allowed to purely pass rush. So I think this is a guy that's going to take more development time. But he's only 20, he's almost 21. So that's what I had on him. Did you want to add anything to this guy, Tom?
I think the best thing about him is he's 20 years old. I don't think he'll have much production next year. I think he's a 2 or 3 year project before he gets going. I don't see why he's ranked so high. I see him as a 2nd or 3rd rounder myself.
I think it's because he went to the big college and he's got the long arms and everything. People just fall in love with those kind of measurables and attributes.
So production doesn't matter?
Not to a lot of guys, not to a lot of scouts. They think that they can get the best out of these people just looking at them on paper.
I kind of see where they're coming from with that. You know, you look at the stats, and it's one of the issues I have with college ball is that a lot of times your opponent is just not really good, and you can rack up some stats, you know. In the NFL, you're not going to get that as much where you're playing against weak opponents.
Here's a guy who's
another thing about college ball is sometimes teams are just strictly run teams. You can face a wishbone. You can face all kind of different offenses. So you don't always get a chance to rush the passer.
Right.
And something else interesting, they have visited with Michael Williams. I want to say he was a top 30 visit, so he's definitely on their radar. I know they at least met with him at the combine, and it was noted that they did that. But I'm pretty sure he was also a top 30 visit. So he'd be someone they're probably looking at 19. The next guy on the list is Mike Green. He's a very controversial player. He's 22 years old. He's got bad length, short arms, small hands, but he's got great athleticism. 4'5'7". Just when you watch him on tape, he's really good with his change of direction. He also has very strong arms for his size. He can deliver some pop from what I've seen. So he has very good production if you look at it. 81 tackles, 17 sacks last year. He should not be asked to defend the run. This guy would be a pure pass rush specialist. He would have to develop, maybe add on some weight and strength to eventually be in on rundowns. He's okay at it. He's not like a major liability. He can shed some blocks, but it's not something you want to ask him to do. But he has elite pass rush potential. Him, Pierce, and Carter are the top 3 pass rush guys, the pure pass rush guys in this draft. He's a quick twitch athlete. He's got great bend and the ability to dip under those offensive tackles around the edge. He can do a bull rush, but he doesn't do it very often. When you have that kind of twitch, you go to your strength. And the big red flags with this guy go back to accusations made against him by 2 people. One of them was in high school. The other one was an early college incident. So he had to transfer colleges. And it's been a few years since the last incident, but that's something that you're going to really have to look into and check out. And unfortunately, for people in our position, we just don't get access to that kind of stuff. So it'll probably vary team by team. But if you believe that the worst of it's over with him, then you're potentially getting the best pass rusher in this draft.
Really? Wow.
Well, maybe not Carter level, but could be. That's all that I had on this guy. What do you think, Tom?
I really, really, really like Mike Green on the field. He reminds me of Houdini. A lot of times tackles don't even get their hands on the guy. He'll go inside, outside. He bends great. He's a hard hitter once he gets up in there. He makes a fool out of tackles. I just wonder, is he playing against good competition? He's at Marshall, and, you know, they're not the greatest as far as, I don't even know what conference Marshall's in.
Right.
But he really, really, really would be a great pass rusher for us. Unfortunately, I don't think we're even going to look at him. I mean, 2 times he's had problems. He has had a top 30 visit, but unfortunately, I don't think he'll be there. And he might not even be there at 19 anyway.
Yeah, people with his potential, they normally don't last to the later half unless the red flags are something that people are not okay with, which that's something we'll just have to wait and see on draft night, how different teams view that. Let's see. Oh. All right, so the next guy for me is Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. He's 22 years old. He has very good length when you combine the arm length and the hands, 82 for the span. He has pretty good athleticism, 4'6'8" for 264 pounds, 40-inch vertical, good broad jump, good 10-yard. He's not quick twitch, though. When you watch him on tape, he's not going to fire out of the snap like he's shot out of there like by a cannon, as a cannon or whatever. But he doesn't have great bend also. He has solid production. 7, 49 tackles, 44. So kind of that consistent guy again. Now, I have watched things on him where they said that Arkansas, they ran a lot of 3-man D lines where he was not allowed to pin his ears back. He can win outside or inside shoulder of the offensive tackle. I've seen him do moves with both. He's just not going to turn the corner and not be touched like some of those elite guys. He has good creativity with his pass rush. He's shown multiple moves flowing from one move to the next on the same play. So he'll try a move like a chop move, and if that doesn't work, the tackle picks it up, he'll immediately go into something else, which you don't see a lot of defensive ends in college with that level of polish.
Yeah.
I would say he has a high football IQ. He diagnoses plays quickly, whether it's a run or an end around, any sort of misdirection. He did beat Kelvin Banks and also Will Campbell for sacks, who are 2 of the highest rated offensive linemen in this draft. On film, he was able to beat both of them. So that projects well. He's got a high motor. He is very intense when you watch him. He's relentless. And another interesting thing about the production, we saw 7 sacks for 2 years. He was the primary focus whenever people would game plan against Arkansas. Arkansas did not have a lot of great players. So whenever teams were going up against him, they're like, we got to take care of this guy first. So he was probably getting a lot of double teams, a lot of chips, all that kind of stuff. I do think he's a good run defender. He's kind of a rich man's, what's that guy we have, the backup guy? Tom likes him.
Nelson?
Yes. To me, he reminds me of a rich man's Nelson. What do you think about this guy, Tom? Did you get a chance to look at him at all?
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than Nelson. He's 6'7", 280. He does run a 4.68 40. Probably the biggest negative, he's had 2 ACL tears. But I like him. He's relentless. He doesn't give up. I don't think he has a high ceiling, but I think he has a high floor. I think he'd be a great second pass rusher, maybe third. And I think he has a long career ahead of him as long as his knee doesn't cause any problems in the future.
Yeah, I didn't know about the ACL tears. I didn't see that. But that is definitely something that you're going to have to check out with the medical staff. He could also be like a Grant Wistrom kind of player. Anybody remember him?
The name's familiar.
Kind of that high motor, relentless guy, very dependable, but he's not going to ever be he's not going to lead the league in sacks in a year, you know? And I think he could go anywhere late first to mid second.
Did you skip?
You think he could go late first?
I think he could. Yeah, I've seen a lot of mocks where he's late first.
Oh, I don't think he's that high. I think he's like mid second to mid third.
I would be very happy getting him mid second.
Hey, did you skip Princely Umanmilia because you couldn't pronounce his name?
No, I didn't. So this list, these are guys that I really like a lot. I like certain attributes with him. He has a pretty good speed rush. He's not going to beat you untouched, and then he has a pretty good spin move as well.
Oh.
So, trying to remember why I didn't like him. I mean, he's like on the verge.
Okay.
He just 244, pretty low, and then he ran a 4.72. That's probably what did it for me.
Mm.
So if you're like 244, I expect you to run a 4.5 or a 4.6.
Yeah.
But he does have a pretty good 10, and that's really more important. It's just kind of looking for the elite measurables.
And he's got a great first name, Princely.
Yep, it's nice. But if they took him in the second round, I think he's a pretty solid draft pick. And I know that they've looked at this guy too. He's been in for a visit, but he's not on my list either. But I could see him being good. He's got 33-inch arms,
He's
257, and he's. What are you going to say, Tom?
Is he 285 pounds? Is that what they're saying?
So it said he was 285, and then you click on the link, and it goes to 257. I think he's actually 257 now. There's a lot of questions about this guy because whenever he transferred, I think down here to Texas A&M,
From Florida.
they asked him to put on a lot of weight. Like they asked him to play at 285, and it seemed like he was sluggish. He didn't have the speed that he used to have, according to people that I've seen talking about it.
Right.
And so he lost a lot of weight for the combine, but then he still didn't run like an elite 40. I mean, 4.7 would be good if he was still up at 280. That'd be a great time. But when you're 257, you'd like to see that a little bit better.
Yes.
I guess he didn't do the 10 or anything like that. He's also got kind of short arms, 33. Good hand size, though. So I didn't have him on there.
I don't think he's very physical either. I don't know what weight he was when I was watching him, but he just didn't seem very physical, and he's not very fast. I just don't think much of him.
Yeah.
Plus, the dude comes to Tampa. I can't pronounce his name, so.
And I think he's one of the guys who's projected to go like in the first for sure on a lot of the stuff that you see. We only have 8 minutes left. We're going to have to start zooming through these. So the next guy, JT Tuimoloau, I guess you pronounce it. 21 years old, good length and athleticism, 61 tackles and 13 sacks last year. So he had good production last year at least. He can win on the outside or the inside shoulder. He's versatile. I saw a really good spin move out of him. He's a good run defender, disciplined backside. I didn't see him vacate his area, his responsibility a lot. Quick to diagnose plays, variety of moves, relentless and passionate. I saw him chase down some guys way downfield that he could have given up on very easily, and he did not.
I like that.
So I would like this guy. Probably not at 19, but if they could get him later than that, I would like him.
And Ohio State, they got a good football program there, so hard to go wrong
I
with
would
them.
be happy if we just drafted Ohio State defensive players.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good defensive line players. The Sawyer guy I'm not super high on, but I like their tackle. So
Hey, if you want, I can turn this off and talk for 10 minutes, and then we can come back on.
yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's see
is that
how
good
many
with
We got a
you?
lot to go over.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
also think that TJ has a slow first step.
Hey, Kate's in the room.
You know, I actually think I could get done with this. I only have 6 guys left. So I could get through this pretty quick. And some of them are the later round guys. How many minutes?
7 minutes.
Okay. Let's just keep going and see how far we get.
Okay.
So this is a guy you see mocked a lot to the Bucks. For him, I've got 21 years old, good length and athleticism, 34-inch arms, 4.62 for 248. Tests well on all that kind of stuff. He had 80 tackles, 17 sacks, 3 forced fumbles last year. I saw him win on both the inside and the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. Occasional bull rush, but it's not his strength. And his run defense is just okay at this point. He's 248. So you probably would want him to be more of a pass rush specialist this year at least. Let me know if you want to just keep rolling or if you want to talk about
Yeah, just
this
keep
guy.
rolling because we don't have much time.
Okay. The next guy for me is Jordan Birch. See where he's at, right here. All right, so Jordan Birch, 23 years old, okay length, 33-inch arms. Great 40 for his weight. So he is 279, runs a 4.67. 31 tackles, 9 sacks last year. I saw him win both inside and outside, quick to diagnose. I saw him tip a lot of passes. He gets his hands up. He almost had an interception when a running back was running a swing route and he was asked to cover. I saw him pick up that running back and cut in front of it when the quarterback had the ball in the air, and he dropped it, but it would have been a pick six. And then he has a little bit of pop in his hands. He's got some violence whenever he makes initial contact with you. I saw some offensive tackles get shocked and pushed back a little bit. Now we're getting into the later round guys. These are guys that are sleepers, in my opinion. Let's see. I'm looking for Diggs. Where's Diggs at? Right here. So Diggs plays at, what is that? Where's he at? Syracuse? I have okay length, good athleticism, 45 tackles, 8 sacks last year. He keeps his pads low, good pop in the hands, and can turn the corner on offensive tackles. I saw him have a pretty good speed rush around the edge. 257, 457, good broad, good 10. So he's a later round guy that I would look at. God Joyner is the other guy. Where's he at?
I haven't heard you talk about Scorton.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over him. He's not one of the guys that I love a whole lot. Just
I
looking
really
at him.
like him.
Did you like him a lot?
I did like him. He reminds me of a little Warren Sapp.
Really?
And he's another one that played at 257 and then up to 285.
Oh, yeah. He's the guy we were saying it's hard to judge because they had him gain a lot of weight. And then it looked like he lost a little bit of his explosiveness.
At Purdue, he was heavy, and then, or maybe I got it wrong. At Purdue, he was heavy, and then he went to Texas A&M and was light. I liked him when he was heavy. He reminded me of Warren Sapp. He moves well, and he's, kind of heavy like Sapp, and he's physical. I liked him.
When you watched him, did they play him more so on the outside shoulder of the guard, or was he way outside?
Way outside.
Okay. Can't remember what his production looked like. So 5 sacks last year, 10 before. I guess
he had 5 sacks one year and 10 sacks the other year.
Yeah, this is the year everybody's questioning what they did with him. They tried to change his body.
Really unblockable when he was 285. He was in the backfield constantly. He was really good at run. He was really good at pass. He was just in the backfield constantly. I don't know why they wanted him to lose weight. I didn't think he was as good when he lost weight.
Yeah, the guy that I was watching last night, he didn't like him at the higher weight. He was talking about him. So I don't know. I don't know what they're playing with. I would assume they'd have him play at the lower weight, and they'd just try to have him be out there on the edge.
And then one more guy I wanted to talk about real quickly that is just crazy is Josiah Stewart. Are you familiar with him?
I don't think I've watched him. Let me look him up.
So Josiah Stewart, I think that he could be the next Zach Braun.
Here he is. So he's out of Michigan. 31-inch, 7/8 arms, 4'7",
He's very small.
249. So what do you see with him on film?
Well, he's like a little Wolverine. He played for Michigan. He reminds me of a Wolverine or a honey badger. He's very feisty. He was knocking tackles back, even though he's only 6'1", 245. And you know who Zach Braun is for the Eagles?
Yes. Is that the guy that used to play with New Orleans and he had all the injury issues and then he went to the Eagles?
He was an outside linebacker there and he didn't do anything. And then the Eagles moved him to middle linebacker and he became an all-pro and really the key to their defense. Even had an interception in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I think Stewart could be like that. I think he could move to linebacker and be really good. Really? And they also say he's a very good pass defender. He has really good bend, too. And he's 21 years old.
Yeah. What round is he projected to go in? Do you know?
He's probably a fourth rounder. He's very small. I don't see him really being successful as a pass rusher, but I think he could change positions and, maybe be very successful if he moves.
Yeah, it says on here he's got an explosive first step and he has a lot of pass rush moves. Natural leverage.
He really does. Watch his moves, man.
6'1".
He's physical.
Basically, all the people that are questioning him, it's the kind of stuff that I was saying, just the physical, the metrics, short arms, low weight.
Right. That's why I think he needs to move positions, just like Braun did.
Would you have him move to off-ball linebacker?
Yes.
What would you have him do?
Just like Braun did. That's what Braun did.
Do you think he can cover in space?
That's one of the things they talked about he was great at was his coverage.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's not
looks,
undersized as a middle linebacker.
Yeah, he looks like a guy that would be interesting to take later in the draft.
Just watch his tape and see what you think.
Yeah, I'll look him up. That's really all I
he doesn't have the He doesn't have the measurables, but I also like Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, I didn't really like.
Boom. I knew it was coming. I told him, I said, it's getting ready to shut off, guys. Get ready to shut off. We're probably going to bring them back here in a second. I asked them if they wanted to come back on. Those guys are great, man. They have taught me a lot about drafting and how to look at all this stuff. Craig, how you doing, brother? I got your mock drafts, and I did not get a chance to send it to them. I almost didn't make it on today again, and as y'all saw, I had audio issues at the beginning again. But I'll definitely send it to them, and we'll talk about it the next time we get online. We'll probably do a show. We're definitely going to do a show Monday. I don't know if those guys will be able to come on. So Jamel D. Oh man. Now I like Jalen McMillan. Travis Hunter at 6. Yeah, I would probably do that because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I like McMillan, but it would just for the interesting factor to get Travis Hunter. I would like to see how that would turn out. He's going to be an interesting football player, I think. Little cocky, but you kind of like that you kind of want that in football players, And I would love to see a dual football player. I think they stopped doing that in like the 70s was probably the last dual football player. I remember Deion Sanders, he did, he played a little bit all three sides. He did a lot of kick returns and stuff too. But he did a little bit of wide receiver, but nothing like what Hunter is supposedly going to do. He's not going to be, we talked about this a little bit, but he's not going to be a, 100% snap count on both sides of the ball. But, if he could do 50-50, that'd be fun. I think he's going to be a fun player. Rampage! B-Call was talking about inside linebacker. He's got a guy he likes at Pierce Jr. I didn't run a poll this time. It was very strange yesterday. Like I said, I got messages from people who didn't know we were on live. For some reason, YouTube didn't send out a notification to everybody. So I don't know what that was about, but we still ended up getting some good poll numbers and got some subscribers and stuff. So you guys aren't running people away. I do appreciate y'all. Joe, what's up, man? Ray Finkel. Killing me. You're killing me. Who is Ray Finkel? I got to look this up. I know this has got to be a thing. Oh, it was the Ace Ventura Pet Detective. The kicker year. Oh, is he an edge? I thought he was inside linebacker. Oh, Paul Jr. Who was I looked up and it showed offensive tackle, and I asked you because I was like the offensive tackle in the second round. And then it was a linebacker, inside linebacker. So Paul, what did I say? Pierce Jr.? Yeah, okay. Y'all know me, man. I mangle names. Mangle names. You should see me when I meet people. Yeah. I have to go through a long process to remember people's names. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, I've been living here 3 years and I still have a problem with neighbors remembering their names. We had new neighbors move in like 3 houses down. They came over the other day and introduced themselves. And immediately after they left, Molly was like, what was her name? What was the lady's name? And I was like, I don't remember. Charlotte? Something, maybe. I remember the dude's name was Rick. So I was happy about that. I thought I was very proud of that. And I only remember that because of The Walking Dead. Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. So go figure. MK go live. I know. Guys, I want to do, here's what I want to do for draft night on Thursday night is I want to have a room where anybody that wants to come in, Craig, you especially, and just have us all just sit there and talk about the draft all night. I mean, what do y'all think about that, man? Just have like a big call-in live show where we all just sit, chat about the draft. That's what I want to do. Just have a big room full of us. He's at the bottom of a swamp. He was out fishing. Got sucked into the bottom of the swamp. Yeah, it's kind of unusual for him not to be in here. Paul Jr. has a hard time getting off blocks. There's a Pierce Jr. and a Paul Jr. B-Call was talking about Paul Jr. out of, let me see, where was he? Chris Paul was Tulsa? No, that's the guy I looked at earlier, the offensive tackle. Zoom. We're using Zoom. We might, I've got it set up, Craig, where you can just click on a link and do it. So we might do that. The reason why we're doing Zoom now is because of the screen share. It's got about the best screen share capabilities. So doing these mock drafts and everything, we wanted to have screen share capabilities. So we decided on Zoom. But we'll see about the draft night live stream. I think I'll probably go with the other way where you just click on a link and it'll automatically put you in the room. You don't have to have Zoom or Hangouts or what's Microsoft now? Microsoft Meetings. I think that would just be easier for everybody. And plus, Zoom, the reason why it cuts off is because it only gives you 40 minutes unless you pay an arm and a leg for it. I think they wanted like $300 for an annual thing for Zoom. I was like, I'm not paying $300. Zoom pricing. It's called Zoom Workplace now. Yeah, you could do a yearly thing or $16 a month, which that's not bad, I guess, but still. I try to, so many people use so much different stuff. I try to make it as easy as possible, as I want to. And just clicking on a link, I think, would be the best way to go about it. So I already had that set up. And then me and Rampage were talking, and he was like, oh, I want to share my screen. And I was like, oh, darn. So then that ended up being a whole issue trying to figure that out. But we got it done. We spent last Saturday for like 2 or 3 hours working on it, me, him, and Tom. So very happy about the way that turned out. We talked yesterday about Jalen Ramsey. What do y'all think about Jalen Ramsey? You think the Bucs are going to go after him? We found it strange that the Bucs cleared up that room on the cap a couple of weeks ago, and they might have done it just to have the space, just in case something comes up. But I wouldn't be opposed to having Jalen Ramsey. I think he's still got some gas left in the tank. It'd just be hard. It'd be hard to pay that much money for him. I mean, he's making $20 million a year or something like that. I think he was $25 million. And we'd have to take that in. Hey, MK, there you are, man. Where you been? MK lives. Dylan, what's up? I don't know if Google Hangouts is still a thing, Craig. I haven't used that in probably 5 years, maybe even longer. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Rampage. Just, that way anybody, whether you're on your phone, your computer, or whatever, you can just click the link in the description and boom, it would automatically put you in the room. I think that would be easier for everybody instead of having to download Zoom. I thought everybody had Zoom, but then I was talking with Tom and he was like, no, he's never used it. I was like, oh. So I think he's done great with it. It's a pretty easy program to use, but I don't like downloading and having a bunch of programs on my phone and my computer. I just don't like it. I've got too many apps on my phone as it is. I downloaded like 4 more the other day. I hate it. I'm just like, So MK didn't get a notification either. Yeah, where you been, Dylan? It does go fast. When you get online and start talking, man, that's why you see me. I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. I got to get off of here. I mean, an hour and a half goes by quick. Well, you could just, Rampage, you could just put your phone, click on the link and let your phone and just have it there while you're watching TV. That's what I'm going to be doing. And we'll just be like, we're all hanging out in the same room. It's going to be a long night. It's like it was last year. Well, I appreciate that, MK. Yeah, I'd 100% do that, Tom. Trade Dean for Ramsey. Even if Ramsey wouldn't restructure his contract, I would make that deal. I mean, what are we paying Dean? 15 million? 12? Somewhere in that area? Let me see. Way too much. One of the reasons why I'm so off on Dean is because I supported him for so long. And I just waited for him to pop off. Yeah, 15 million. Yeah, so yeah, I would take a swap. Ramsey for Dean. Although from what I hear, Ramsey didn't do good last year. But that whole situation, what was it, Miami? Is that where he was at? They something happened over there. Tom is old. If Tom can figure it out, even MK can do it. It's so easy. Even a caveman can do it. So easy, even Tom can do it. Y'all kill me, man. Huh. Yeah, I think YouTube's having issues with their notification system or something. Let me look at his stats, Rampage. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was with Miami last year. Um, he had he had two interceptions. He played all 17 games as a starter. No pick sixes. He's only had one pick six in his career, and that was his first year. Ugh. Pass defenses, he had 11, which is, pretty decent. No forced fumbles. He had one sack. It's more than Jamel Dean has had in his whole career. How in the world can you have 0 sacks as a quarterback when we blitz cornerbacks as much as we do? What, Rondé Barber had what, 50? Something. Dean has been in the league 6 years, 0. No quarterback hits. They blitz him too. I've seen it. I've seen it. Craig, you got an OnlyFans feed? Wait a minute. As a performer or as a viewer? So I think Ramsey appeared to play well, just not up to his high standard. But gosh, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7 Pro Bowl or 7 All Pro nods? Let me see. Good grief. 7 Pro Bowls. He's gone to 7 Pro Bowls. Wow. He's got 3 first team All Pro. He's only got 2 Player of the Week, though. That's pretty impressive, though. That's Player of the Week, not Defensive Player. Oh no, that's defense, and it's AFC Defensive Player of the Week. What else has he got? I'm surprised he's only got 1 pick six, though. This thing's rare. Eight likes. We're slacking on the likes, man. What am I seeing here for likes? Here we go. I'm seeing 11. We can run the Bucky Boo. Scatibo at 19. To Bucky Boo. Hand of football. Oh my goodness. Can you do that? Do they have male performers on OnlyFans? I guess so. Could they discriminate? I don't know. How did that become a thing? Cam, how do you pronounce his name? Scatibo? Scatibo? Do roll back. That would be cool, man. The Bucky Boo. I'm excited to watch Bucky this year. I think he did such a great job last year. It's exciting. I love running backs. And, I like Rashad White. I really do. But, you just can't, you can't compete with that, I mean, I like Rashad White as a person, and I think he's a great locker room guy. I think he's a good running back, for certain purposes. I don't think he's a three downer. And you just can't. I mean, Bucky's just he's that he's got that gosh, what is it Molly calls it? That unmeasurable, every time he gets the ball, you're expecting a big, or you're waiting for something big to happen. So I'm excited to watch him this year. Hopefully he won't turn into another Doug Martin where, come out strong in the gate and then just kind of fizzled after we took his candy away. What did he say it was? Adderall? That's what they all did there for a while. After the new CBA was signed, in the CBA, it said that the players could, because of HIPAA, the players could say what substance they were being suspended for, but the NFL couldn't. All they could do is say they're being suspended for illegal substance. But the players could say whatever they wanted to. And for like 5 years there, it was Adderall. Every single time it was Adderall. Yeah, Adderall. I got suspended for Adderall. I think Freeman, to leave, Jackson, the muscle hamster. Gosh, we had a whole string of players who Adderall. It was Adderall. Duh, what's up? Yeah. He's got great hands. Dub, I tell you what, he made some catches last year. He made a one-handed catch that was just amazing last year. And his blocking, very good. Bucky needs to up that aspect of his game, but he's so small. Bucky's so small. I am too, Rampage. No, if we keep him, I won't be mad. Not at all. Like I said, I think he's a great locker room guy. And I think he's going to he'll be good in certain situations. Skiddly Boo. That's I did not. It is fun to say Skiddly Boo. Skiddly Boo. Skatibo. Yeah. Skittleboo. He's fun to watch. Well, that's what we like, right? Could you imagine we got Bucky and Skiddly, Skatibo, Scatbo, two fun running backs? That'd be awesome. I love running backs, man. I mean, you give me a good running game, I'm a happy football fan. A good running game and a good defense, that's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. His fumble against Dallas. We don't We don't mention stuff like that around here. I don't know what you're talking about, Rampage. Yeah, it takes a long time, Tom, to watch full game film. If you're just watching one player, it's not that thing. But I mean, if the game is, let me see, if you get the game footage and you get both angles, so that means you double the plays. So most game film is about an hour and a half long, anywhere between an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. And when you watch it, you got to rewind it. So you generally end up watching a play 3 or 4 times. So multiply hour and a half by 3 or 4 times. But if you're just watching one guy, then you could skip the other, special teams and offense if you're watching a defensive player and everything. So you can watch one guy in a couple of hours. But yeah, it does take a lot of time. That's why when I watch like the NFL Network or these guys they'll talk about this guy and that guy, and I'm like, y'all didn't watch that game film. There's no way you could watch game film on all the NFL players. It would be hard enough to watch game film on just the teams in your division. There's no way somebody could watch game film. And, you can watch it, of course, but, to like analyze all the game film in the league, there's no way. One person couldn't do it. Nope. Oh, that stiff arm of Bosa, that was great. Tenard Jackson, yeah. Yeah, it was a shame with him. He ended up going to the Redskins, right? And just kept getting suspended, and finally they were just like, you're done. He was a good player too. Yeah, that's another part too. Cutting up the tape, that takes a long time. Usually takes me half an hour to cut up tape. Scataboo. Scataboo? That's even better. I thought it was Scatibo. Scataboo. That's awesome. Scataboo and Bucky. What'd you call it? The Buckaboo? We just got too much stuff going on with the Skiddly Bow. That's hilarious. I love our running back room. I really do. I think I liked Rashad White, but Bucky he's just fun to watch, man. You just never know. He's just going to pop off. And it's been a long time since we've had a running back like that. Doug Martin, 2012. No live stream tomorrow, Rampage. Definitely Monday, if that's what you're talking about. Judkins. Oh, that's a cool name, too. Rampage is drunk. He's typing funny. He's drunk typing. I do. I get attached to players, Tom. I do. I really do. I get like an emotional. They're like my best friends. Oh, I didn't turn my lights on back here. But yeah, Rampage. I was thinking, we'll do Monday. Probably not Tuesday. And then Wednesday. And then Thursday's draft, right? If y'all can do that. I think y'all have done a great job, man. Y'all really know your stuff. Really know your stuff. I think it's funny because Rampage will bring a guy up and he'll be like, "What do you think, Tom?" And Tom will be like, "Well," and then with all this information. Man, how do y'all remember all that stuff? If I don't have it sitting in front of me, I don't remember. Do you think we should do inside linebacker Monday? Because that was the second on the poll yesterday. That was the second group that was requested. Or, we could talk about it this weekend and come up with a game plan if you got any ideas. First round is Thursday. Yeah, Tom, I had a number of people contact me and saying they didn't know we were on yesterday. So apparently YouTube didn't send out notifications. And I don't know why. Nothing from my end as far as I know. You're getting paid 5,000. That's a gummy bears, right? Didn't we talk about that? I couldn't even afford 5,000 gummy bears. Sean Tucker reminds you more of Doug Martin? That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I do like his running style. That's all I love Bucky and Tucker's, 1-2 punch, man. I really do. I think that's what you need in a run game. All right, Craig, I'm going to email you, Craig, and see, test out that link with you and see if we can do that instead of Zoom for Thursday night. Because I don't think we're going to need any screen sharing. So I think the link would probably work. But I will need to test it out. Okay, that'll work, Rampage. Sweet, Dub. Are you going to, will you be able to join the with the cam and the microphone and stuff? Because what we're going to try to do is, just have a room where all of us sit there and talk over top of each other. Or are you going to be at the Bucks draft party at the stadium? Testing. Okay. Carson Schwessinger. Yeah, Craig, I wish they would send out notifications when I schedule a stream. I think that'd be better. And then you could go there and then get notified, something like that. Don't get me wrong. I think YouTube does a fantastic job. I love YouTube. There's always going to be glitches. So you did get a notification yesterday. Huh. Oh, no. Trade out of the first. You never know with this group, man. Molly gets so mad when they trade out, especially if she stays up, because she can't stay up late. So she might make it. She might make it at 19. She might. But if they trade down, she's going to be like, I'm going to bed. She gets so mad. Especially if they trade out of the first round like they did with Logan Hall. Oh, gosh, she was so mad. She's like, I stayed up all night for this. Demetrius Knight, yeah, a lot of people like him. Oh, that's cool, Dub. Yeah, man. I'm jealous. Did you go last year? Oh, this is the 50-year stuff. Oh, man. Gosh, you're making me want to jump in my car and drive down there. Hmm. All right, Rampage, have a good one, brother. That's how it happens, Tom. You always think you're prepared, and then bam. It's like with the audio issue. That was very strange. And then what was it? The Monday we had audio issues too. I had to end up editing out like the first 20 minutes of that live stream. Ended up being somebody suggested, have you tried plugging it, unplugging it, plugging it back in? So I crawled up under my desk. That's exactly what I did. I took my mic, I unplugged it, plugged it back in, fixed it. Never had that problem before. Been live streaming for what, 3 years now? Sammy Watkins, yeah. My goodness, be Cole. You know, yes, 100%. Mike Evans has been amazing. Really has been. I mean, they did a good job, and that was what Jason Likes' first draft pick was Mike Evans. That solidified, like, he's going to be our GM until Mike Evans leaves. Uh, Hall of Famer, man. I was not a big fan of Mike Evans the first couple years. I got mad at him a lot. He had kind of an attitude problem, and he was always playing hurt after like every catch, and it cost us a game. I want to say it was against Detroit, but I'm not real sure, because he went down at the end of the game and acted like he was hurt, and they ran 10 seconds off, and that was it. And he stood up. He was like, "What? What?" Everybody was like, "Dude!" But he was. Let me see. He really matured, and now he's just so zen. I love it. He seems like a good player, good person. But he was young coming into the league, and he had gotten into that fight. There was that video of him in that fight in college at that bar where he jumped over that car and started swinging on people and stuff. I was like, oh man, here we go. And then he came in the league and started acting all crazy. I was like, yeah. And that was when we had Vincent Jackson on the other side. And, of course, Vincent Jackson was just like cool as a cucumber. So that's who I was comparing him to. And I'm like, dude, you got to chill out. And he did. He did. What did he get kicked off of Georgia Tech's football team for? I think we talked about him in the live stream, didn't he? Ah. 50-yard line for the 50-year stuff. Oh man. Man, I'm jealous. Hey Dub, pick me up one. And I'll give you my mailing address. You can send it to me. Hey, you sound fine, Tom. It is weird hearing yourself though, isn't it? When you listen, you're like, what? That's what I sound like? Because yeah, in my head, my voice is a lot deeper, but it's probably because of the cavernous echo you get going on. Is Kate still in here? I haven't seen her talk any. She just popped in to say hi, let us know she was here. I tell you what, this has been one of the most boring off seasons The Bucks news is just so slow. We had with 2019, we had the big news getting Bruce Arians, and then 2020, of course, was Tom Brady, and then it seems like since then it's just been, off season has been just been busy, busy, busy every year. Last year was a little slow, but this year, man, nothing. We got his Riddick at the beginning of the offseason, and since then, really nothing. I mean, the last signing we did was March 25th. And that was Sua Opeta, guy we already had. We got Anthony Walker Jr., Charlie Heck. I've been wanting to watch some game film of him. He's a offensive lineman. He was with the 49ers last year, I think. And then that Kendall Vildor, cornerback from Detroit. I wanted to look at his stuff too. Reddick, I hope he's better than what we saw on film. Not that he was bad, and he wasn't bad. He just wasn't, elite. I was hoping to see something that would make me go, okay, I get it. Dub, that would be so awesome. I'll put you in the Hall of Fame. The Buccaneers Observer Hall of Fame. Oh, so they didn't release why he was kicked off? Okay. Exhibit A for our trade with the Raiders. Yes, definitely getting Godwin back was, and Levante coming back too. I mean, I'm going to be very sad when he goes. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be very sad. I'll probably do like a week in mourning on the live stream because he's just been large part of the team for a long time, and I've just really enjoyed watching him. Last year was kind of rough, especially at the beginning of the year, but as far as Godwin, I hope he comes back. That was a tough injury. I thought he was done. The way he was dragging that leg, I thought that was it. That was the end of his career. I'm also happy that we got Sterling Shepard back. I know a lot of guys weren't impressed with his performance last year. And yeah, his stats and all that weren't that good, but I really, really, really liked his attitude. We've got a very tough offense. Those guys get out there and they throw hands, and they don't get pushed around. I like that. And Sterling Shepard's part of that reason why. He's a chippy little dude out there. It's been a very boring offseason. Very boring. See, we got used to crazy offseason stuff, man. Mike Green, I'm gonna put him on my list to try and watch. I don't know why when I lean forward, these lights are just very harsh. Like right here, oh yellow. Very strange. And then my color is changing in the background. Yeah, got too much stuff going on. You think San Francisco's going to go for Mike Green? Where are they drafting at? Let me see. Are they right ahead of us? All 7 rounds. Tennessee Titans are going first. Are they going to pick that quarterback? Do y'all reckon? What are the Browns going to do? They're second. And then the Giants. I don't think it matters what the Browns or the Giants do. They're going to be a disaster either way. How in the world did the Giants win a Super Bowl against Tom Brady? I'll never figure that out. The Patriots at fourth, man. What? It's so wild because the Patriots have been so dominant for so long. To see them picking that high is just weird. Jaguars. That's funny, that picture of the coaches and Liam standing right next to Bowles. Like, you traitor. Oh, that hurt, man. That was a stab in the heart. It's been 2 years in a row I've had to go through that. I liked Canales. I didn't think he was the best offensive coordinator, but I liked him as a person until he did that. At least Liam didn't go to the Saints or something. Okay, I'm trying to find the draft order. Seahawks are right in front of us. 49ers are at 11th. Okay. Did they ever sign the deal with their quarterback? They're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And they don't have a lot of money. They got so many big name players over there. A lot of people has Campbell going to us. But then, as I was saying earlier, DraftKings has us picking an edge, which kind of surprised me. They got us at plus 150 on edge. Really, Tom? You'd go with Green? Oh, you're talking about Campbell. Okay. Back on the bottom, I know. We all knew it was going to happen to the Patriots eventually, but gosh, that was a long run. What was it, 20 years? That's ridiculous. I can't even fathom a dynasty like that. Being a fan of a team that was winning for 20 years. Hey, Adam, what's up, man? Um, yeah, trading down. I don't want to do it either. Yeah, I think we have needs that are, we need some elite players. You know, we're not so stacked with elite guys that we can, fill the bench with, what do they call them? Projects, project players. No, I want guys that can come in and play right away and make a difference, or at least, come in and play and to make a difference next year. Minimum, minimum. I do believe 19 is high for an off-ball linebacker, but we got to do it. Maybe. I think it really depends on what happens before us. If we get a guy who, top 10 guy that falls to us, let's take him. You know, I don't think we're uh, so lacking at inside linebacker that we have to take one at 19. Edge, same thing with edge. I mean, it's not like our guys are horrible. We just don't have elite. That's a good point, Biko. Yeah, I want elite. I don't want the fourth guy. Fourth guy on the list. I want the top guy. I'd rather have the top at the bottom than the bottom of the top, right? You don't think Campbell's going to fall to 19 either? Wow. Almost all the mock drafts I've seen, he's been available. Like Tom was saying, yeah. But mocks aren't real. Tom, I see where Rampage is coming from because I kind of believe in that to a degree. I think we're right there on the border of we have to have certain positions filled with good players, and we can take best available. We're right on that border, I think. Uh, if somebody really, really good drops to us, I think we should take them. Whether it's a wide receiver or tackle or something like that. But other than that, I mean, they got to be like really good. I don't think we do best available at 19 unless it's somebody who fell really far for whatever reasons. Tom loved KJ Britt last year. Tom, Tom was very happy with KJ Britt. Every week he was texting me going, next week KJ Britt's going to be the star. Every week without fail. Yeah, that's a good point, B-Call. That's a good point. There is a podcast with him on it that I just put on my list right before we got online. It's with, he did, let me see. The podcast is Brandon Thorne, Trench Warfare. And he did a 23-minute interview with Tristan Wirfs, but it's an interview where they talk about film. And Wirfs talks about Justin School on there too, and how much School helped him out, which is cool. I'm glad School's getting some money. I'm glad that's what the reason was, to be honest with you. If he would have got, the same amount or a little bit more, then there was coach issues or whatever, so some type of issue with him. So I'm glad it was he went to Minnesota for the money. We lost him because of the money. he Tom's got he's got 3 KJ Britt jerseys. He's got a home jersey, an away jersey, and then the special pink jersey. He wears them to the pool. That's funny. No, Tom every week every week was, I hate KJ Britt. He was very upset with KJ Britt. Not a big fan of it. I'm going with Campbell. It's just the natural fit. Everybody likes him. We need that position. It just makes sense. So yeah, I would think Campbell's who we're going to get if he makes it to us. He cropped the bottom off the pink one. Showing them six packs, man. And he's got those oblique muscles too. Women love those oblique muscles. You got to show them off. I don't blame him. I would too if I had them. Well, we got what was it, Cole? What was it? Charlie Heck. So yeah, school was very, very dependable. But man, it was hard watching him play. He was just so like every play, it looked like he was getting ready to get whooped. He'd be all bent backwards and stuff, but he'd stick it out, man. That's why I want to watch this Charlie Heck guy and see if he's going to be a serviceable replacement. Yeah, Britt went to Oakland, right? Spytek and Tom Brady. They think they can save him. Really, Tom? Man, I just see him. I mean, every mock I see, he's available at 19. I mean, I know mocks aren't real life, but who needs a linebacker that bad? Surgery on his labrum. Is that Heck? Is that who you're talking about? Man. Well, what will they do if we can't get Campbell? Go with Knight? Would we pick him that high though? Then we'd probably trade down. If we can't get Campbell, we'll probably trade down. I don't know. That's a tough one. Atlanta will take Campbell just to mess with us, probably. Oh, they do have defensive coach too. I liked Atlanta's linebacker group last year, didn't I? Who was it? They had that one guy I liked. Let me see. I think it was Troy Anderson. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. Man, could you imagine how horrible and mad we'll be if Atlanta takes Campbell and then he turns out to be a all pro? Oof. Yeesh. Where are they picking at? Let's see. We got the Panthers and the Saints are picking 8 and 9. And then the Falcons are at 15. Ah, man. I will be so mad. Oh yeah, that's right. Cable had surgery on his labrum. They said he'll be good to go, though. We looked at the timetable, so he should be good. But that could bump him down. If people don't want to take a chance with it. So he's like the only linebacker that's really first round quality, huh? Yeah, Atlanta's been a tough team for us. And I think they're just going to get tougher. It all depends, on how their coach can hold the team together. He showed in the past he's not very good at that, but maybe he's learned his lesson. I don't think he has. I watched him last year and the way he was acting on the sidelines, and then in the locker room, I was like, "Uh-oh, this looks like he's getting that uh, ego, pride, and he's too much of a player's coach." And these guys might start walking all over top of him. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. Raheem not learning his lesson. Man, a safety? Oof. Ah, man, that would shock me. That would shock me. But if he's best available, he's worth it. Yeah, and I like Cansey. I like him a lot. I like Cansey a lot. The only issue I have with him is his injury. His missing the first half of every season so far. Not a fan of that. I mean, who is? Rampage, you back? Campbell could miss most of the season. Yeah, we talked about that, and we were pretty sure he'd be back or ready to go before the season started, right? So we didn't give any indication that we were going to pick Cansey. That's wild. Yeah, when he's on the field, man, he's a game changer. And he's getting better every year, like you said. Cansey's he's probably got the best hands in the league. Uh, he did get stronger last year. First year, he was getting pushed around a little bit, but last year he was able to hold his ground better. But he was getting amazing pressures, and PFF, which y'all know how I feel about them, but they had him listed as the first player that they've ever, since they've been doing the stats and keeping measurements, who never missed a tackle. First one. He made every tackle that he had an opportunity to make. I was like, all right, that's my kind of guy. Whitehead going, yeah. My brain is never on for name stuff. Sometimes I'll be so happy I'll remember a name and I'll spit it out, and 90% of the time I'll find out I was wrong. Everybody will be correcting me. Oh, you're out at a restaurant, Rampage? Which reminds me, I got to get off here and get something to eat. I am starving. Molly and them went out to eat. Now I stayed at home so I could be with you guys. So hopefully they brought me something back. All right, guys. No live stream tomorrow. We're going to be back on Monday. Hopefully Rampage and Tom will be able to get on And we're going to try and most likely go through the inside linebacker groups and maybe some others. We're going to discuss it and come up with a game plan. But I appreciate y'all hanging out. And the draft is right around the corner, dudes. A week away. This time next week, we're going to be celebrating or crying. One of the two. But till next time, go Bucks.